Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to cut the 3 different shapes that are used in the Weight of Love pattern. That way you can cut the shapes ahead of time for the workshop and get a head start, okay? We are using the Hex N More ruler, so if you've not used it before, this is a really good quick little tutorial for you. We're using 3 different shapes. The first one is this 3.5 inch triangle, and I've marked it with tape here just to keep myself organized. 3.5 inch triangle. The other one is the 6.5 inch hexagon, so I've marked it with tape here, and there's the whole shape there. And the other one is the 6.5 inch half hex, which is this piece here. On this ruler, think of the solid lines as the lines that you want to use as your cut lines when you're cutting your fabric. All the dotted lines are your seam allowances. So this ruler takes into account the seam allowances. The quick way to do the shapes is to cut strips of fabric. So I've pre-cut with a regular ruler a 3.5 inch strip of fabric and a 6.5 inch wide piece of fabric, okay? The 3.5 inch piece of fabric, make sure you can see, can be used to cut both the equilateral triangles and the half hexes. So there's our 3.5 inch hex. We're going to lay it down on the fabric. Line up your solid line along with to the bottom and your tip up here. Hold it down. Slice. Slide that away. So now you have part of that triangle. Here's the little trick. Flip the fabric over horizontally. Flip it. Okay? Take that piece. Line up your triangle again along your cut line. Slice. There's a little scrap, throw that aside. Boom, you've got your 3.5 inch equilateral triangle, okay? From that same strip, you can also cut the 6.5 inch half hex. Here's a 3.5 inch strip. Flip it over. Okay, so you've got this diagonal line here. Take your ruler, find the piece that you're looking for. Here's the piece here, 6.5 inch half hex, which is actually 3.5 inches wide. And you're going to set it down on your strip. Slide it over. You've already got that one side cut because of the triangle that you just cut. So now you're just going to cut along here. One little bit there, slide it off, done, okay? Now, you can trim this corner off if you want by just flipping it again or just trimming it by eyeballing it. You don't have to do that trimming. You can leave it till the end when you start piecing your shapes together. That's up to you. It's just a handy little tool, I think, so that you don't have as many dog ears to trim when you're all done. Okay, so now we have 2 of our shapes done, and those are both cut from the 3.5 inch strips of fabric. And now we're going to do our big shape, which is the 6.5 inch whole hexagon. So I've got a piece of fabric here that's 6.5 inches wide. Lay it out. Make sure you can see. Okay, here's your 6.5 inch hex. It's the second hexagon. The biggest one you can use on this ruler is an 8.5 inch, but we're doing 6.5 inch. So you want to make sure that you line up the solid top line and the solid bottom line on your fabric. Make sure that this point isn't over here somewhere, that at the very least you have it at the edge of your fabric. Make sure it's all covered with fabric, okay? And then slice one side. One. Okay, slide that away. You've got half of it done. And what do? Remember, you just do a flip. Flip it over. Like that. Set it down. Line it up again. So there's your whole, you've got all those sides. You only have to trim off these 2 sides. Hold it down. 1, 2. Take those scraps away, boom. Now you have your whole hex, all right? Never with this ruler. I don't want to see anyone in my classes going like this towards your hands or going on a crazy angle towards your fingers. I'm really strict about making sure that you lock your rotaries and set them down every time you're not cutting, okay? But that's it. So there, 6.5-inch strips of fabric can be used to cut your hexagons. Your half hexes and equilateral triangles can come from 3.5-inch strips. All right, looking forward to seeing everyone at the workshops. Bye, guys.